Here we go again. Welcome to hockey. Beautiful fall day in Madison, and it's game week for us in women's hockey. There were some teams within our league, the WCHA, this past weekend that played exhibition games, so we're off and running, and certainly there's a lot of excitement in our camp here in Madison. Obviously, a young team that we had last year did very well, had a very successful season. Obviously, those players have got a year under their belt and more experience in their toolbox right now than they did a year ago. So, with the addition of Emily Clark, who played in the Olympics last year for Team Canada, and Annie Pankowski, who was part of the national program for a good chunk of the season last year. Coming back after taking the year off from school certainly adds to our depth within our organization, and looking forward to some of the things that we're going to have to deal with as we progress in the early part of our season. This past Saturday was our first official day of practice, and a lot of energy on the ice and a lot of excitement within our locker room. So we look forward to getting our first games under our belt this upcoming weekend against Lindenwood. And then I think what's nice within our schedule, having to go to Mercyhurst, who played here last year, we're going to have to go to their building, and they're predicted to win their league in the CHA, and certainly will be a good test early on in the season for our team. So looking forward to the season. A lot of high expectations, obviously, but that's what we expect, and so we're looking forward to the challenges that I think will be presented as we go through this season.
Mark, given that you've only had practice to see your team so far, what do you think will be the highlight of this group, given that there's a lot of options to choose from when you look down the road at what's out there?
Well, as you look at the roster and as people start to watch us, I think the first thing they'll recognize is that we have quite a bit of depth this year, and especially in the forward position, and the skill level, from the top to bottom. There's a bunch of that there, and so our job is to try to find some chemistry amongst players, to put lines together, to try to create early energy within the group. And most of them were here this summer training, working out. They know each other real well up to this point. There's great friendships within the group. And so as we start the early part of the season, the chemistry is good and the excitement is high. And now it's get into competition and see what we look like in competition. But I think as people look at our roster and they look at the different players we've had in the past and the one we're adding this year, and then with Annie and Emily coming back, the depth is probably going to be the biggest asset that we have right now.
Mark over here. Hey, having Emily Clark and Annie Pankowski back, as you mentioned, is depth. But from a veteran standpoint, I mean, obviously their age, they're older in the room, and also they've played in some pretty big hockey games. What does that do for the younger girls on your squad?
Well, as they came, back, worked out this summer, that instant respect factor, having known what Emily went through last year, winning a silver medal, what Annie's gone through personally over the last 4 or 5 years, in her quest to play in the Olympics, and some of the hurdle that she's had to climb over and some of the disappointment she's had to deal with. When they walk into your locker room and a younger player gets to know them and has conversations, has a cup of coffee with them, that respect of those two individuals is quite high. From my past experience in 2010 when I came back after the Olympics in Vancouver, with Megan Duggan and Lawler and Vetter and Hillary Knight and some of those players, usually when they come back after that year of playing in the Olympics and with the national team, they're better players. They're better people. They've had great experiences. They've had an opportunity for 6 or 7 months to train and work out with the best players that those countries have, and they come back on campus very excited and looking forward to their senior year. So I see that both in Emily and Annie. And so not only what they'll do for us on the ice, but probably more importantly what they do off the ice. You really can't measure those things.
With Sophie Shirley, I know it may not have been the course that everyone wanted her playing last year in the Pro League, but what did she get out of that from your perspective? And from what you've seen so far of her in practice, that is going to make her a better, more comfortable player as a freshman in college?
I think a little adversity, having gone through last year and what she had to do to, get herself in position to, to come to Madison, to go to school here, and so, handled it extremely well. I think playing at a high level last year and being a rookie in a professional league, certainly, humbles you a little bit. But, she ended up winning Rookie of the Year. She's got a real high skill level, and I think, as people watch us play, they're going to notice her pretty quickly. She's got a real presence about her, and certainly very comfortable in who she is. And so it's going to be fun to watch her as she goes through her freshman year here.
This might be a better question for Annie, but I'll ask you anyway. Do you think with what transpired over the last couple of years, her not making the Olympic team just adds a little bit extra juice and motivation to what she hopes to accomplish, not only here as a senior, but maybe down the line with the USA?
Yeah, I mean, it would be tough to be in her shoes, having, swung twice and missed both times. One time I think you probably could handle a little bit easier, but then when it comes around a second time, then what do you do? But I give her a lot of credit. She rolled up her sleeves. She's worked hard. She went back to USA's camp this past August, did extremely well. Hopefully get a chance to play in the Four Nations in November and just continue that process and continue to try to strive to, reach that ultimate goal that she has of playing in the Olympics and representing her country. And so she's determined, she's upbeat, she's positive, and certainly looking forward to her senior year at Wisconsin.
Mark, do you feel a little bit more at ease about your goaltending situation now than maybe at this time last year?
Yeah, much more comfortable for a lot of different reasons. Last year we were obviously very inexperienced in that position as we started the season, and this year, we've got some experience there. Certainly with Kristen's, season she had last year and what she was able to do from start to finish. Played in every game, did extremely well. But as you reflect back on her season, as the end started to, come around and we ended up losing our last game, it's an opportunity for her, certainly for us as a staff and the players to, reflect what do we need to do to get better. And so as she looks at it, how can I be better this year than I was last year? And you know her as well as I do. You've seen her work out. She's very driven. She's very goal-driven. She had a chance to go up to Calgary this past summer and work with Team Canada, and I think that helped her out. And so very comfortable with where she's at and certainly some of the things that she wants to work on to continue to improve.
It may not get a lot of attention given what you have coming back and coming in as freshmen, but your defensive core seems like it's poised to be a pretty solid element for you to maybe not have to worry about too much. That group could be pretty good for you, I guess.
Well, a year ago we were talking about, inexperienced and young and, people trying to grab minutes and be successful in those minutes that they grab. And, this year it's just a little bit of a twist differently, obviously, with Maddie Rolfus getting a redshirt year back, bring someone back that, be in her fifth year or fourth year of eligibility. But, in our business, you start from the net and you move out. If you've got an experienced goaltender, somebody that can, hold the fort down for you on a nightly basis and give you a chance to win every game, that's a real good start. And then if you move out to the blue line, if you have, a handful of defensemen that, have experience, that have played in big games, that have played national tournament games, that really bodes well for your defensive end. And certainly as you look at our roster, some of the kids coming back, some of the kids that played last year in high-minute positions, we have experience back there. But as I challenged him Saturday, it's like where are we going to be in October when Halloween comes around? Where are we going to be in Thanksgiving in November? The whole position for us as a coaching staff is to try to get them better, try to make improvements. And so we have a bunch of good pieces, and now let's put this puzzle together and see how good we're capable of becoming.
Emily Clark, if I understand it right, has been a little bit of a mentor for Sophie along the way. I mean, they're both from Saskatoon. They kind
grew up in a very
right, have
very
kind of
close to each other.
Yeah, have shared some of the same path. What can Emily's career show for Sophie, and what can maybe Emily learn from what Sophie can do herself too?
I mean, if you look at Emily's, track record and, when she first came here and how she's progressed with us on the ice here at Wisconsin, but, equally as important, for Sophie to look at is, what she done with Team Canada, 4 or 5 years ago and where she started with that program and eventually put herself in position to, play in Olympics last year. And I think, Shirley certainly has the same aspirations. She's starting, in a really a similar position that Emily started, 4 years ago. And so, look down the road 4 years from now, I think this year spending with Emily, she can take a lot of things away, have a lot of conversations, what she needs to work on, what she needs to do to elevate her game. And, maybe 4 years from now, we'll see her in the Olympics, similar to what we saw Emily work and get herself in position to do that.
Can you just give us your perspective of women's college hockey in general this season? A lot of really good players coming back, a lot of really good players developing into what will be even better players. It makes it a little bit more entertaining, I would imagine.
That's a great question. And I've thought about it. And, you look at what BC's got coming back off the U.S. Olympic team and the 3 defensemen that they're going to come back, and a couple transfers in that program. I mean, Clarkson's going to be strong again. Ohio State's goalie. I sort of call it the Russell Wilson rule, where she graduated at Ohio State, still had years eligibility, and transferred to Clarkson. They also got a young lady off Quinnipiac, Clarkson did, that is a high-profile player, so they're going to be strong. But to answer your question, the best I could do in my 16, 17 years on the women's side, this may be the strongest group of talent and teams that I've seen at the Division I level since I started that long ago. So there'll be a bunch of great games. There'll be a bunch of high-profile games, and so strap your belt on and off we go. It's going to be good.
Closer to home, this is the 20th year of women's hockey at Wisconsin, which seems remarkable in some ways. But can you talk about where it's come from, where it is, and how gratifying it is to see that the results that's happened over the last 20 years?
Yeah, it's 20th anniversary of WCHA. I know we're going to have patches on our helmets celebrating it, 20th year of our program, and certainly we've got a reunion set up. And I know as of today, a lot of former players are coming back from all the different teams over the course of that 20 years. In answering that, when I first started, and I remember being at the first game, Wisconsin playing against a real strong Duluth team at the Kohl Center, and watching the first game and the program's history, and put a smile on your face. And I reflect back on over the 20 years of the program and where it's come and how far it's gone. And now we've got a beautiful LeBron Arena to play in front of. We've played in a bunch of sold-out crowds, had NCAA quarterfinal games, and so my crystal ball 20 years ago, would the program be in this position and would we be this far along with women's hockey? It would have been tough to predict that, but it's in a great place. A lot of appreciation to our fans who are willing to come out and watch our players play, and certainly to the players that and their families that gave us an opportunity to work with those young ladies for 3 or 4 years or 5 years, some of them, and get a chance to make them better people, get them a degree from the University of Wisconsin, get an opportunity to play in different Olympics and win silver medals. This past season, a bunch of them won gold medals. So the whole thing just puts a big smile on my face, and certainly appreciate a lot of the input from everybody around our athletic department, our coaching staff, and the people that have directly impacted our program. But it's in a great place, and certainly an enjoyable part on my to be still part of that and still moving along.